Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Spiral Out Podcast. I'm your host, Chris West. So, today another tour has started, and that means the podcast is back just cuz. Big shout out to Mike Gamble. He's been doing Tool-inspired art for a long time. I don't know if it's specifically Tool-inspired, but it seems like it. I don't know the man personally, but I hope to have him on the show very soon. But it's a big well-deserved for him. Congratulations on your Loveland poster. Congratulations on your inbox exploding, I'm sure. Our guest today is Kyler Sharp, and we cover a lot. It's a long episode. We talk about his two Puscifer posters, the Utah and the Houston Puscifer poster, the ape alien ones that are freaking cool. We cover lots of different subjects, from the posters themselves to AI art to screen printing, the process in general, to ancient alien theory. We cover a lot, and it was extremely entertaining to talk to him and to do the episode. It was informative, and Kyler was just a really, really nice guy with, a plethora of working knowledge. So enjoy the episode. Spiral Out for those of you in Loveland tonight. Hope you got some cool new songs, and thank you for listening. On full blast now. Alrighty. Hello everyone, and welcome to Spiral Out Podcast. I'm your host, Chris West, and on today's show we have the talented Kyler Sharp.
Hello.
How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Thank you.
And thank you. This is a crazy collection back here.
Yeah, it's an awesome collection.
I'm trying to look at it through the video, how it looks, because this is relatively new. I got a nice camera. I'm doing the video. I'm trying to post it to YouTube and whatnot, and have like just a whole other aspect, because people ask all the time. We listen to your podcast. We don't get to see anything cool. And it's like we're talking about a visual medium, so I'm hoping to like splice in, the posters we talk about, pictures of that and whatnot. And
yeah, no, it works. It works. I recognize several of the artists back there.
Which ones?
See two mimics there, and I see and I think that's a Brian Ewing right there, right?
There, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that guy. He's great.
Yeah, he's awesome. And I see two of your mimics right there. I can't make out the others behind you, but
there's the Adam Jones one. Cool. And that's Alex Kuno right there. He was the first artist that ever came on the show. And then
oh, really?
Yeah. He was really nice. And then there's the Nadia. I haven't talked to him yet. But we'll see. But let's talk about you, Mr. Kyler. This podcast is somewhat geared towards Tool and Puscifer and APC stuff, but we tend not to. I don't know if you've listened to any episodes. We spend a little bit of time talking about that, but not all the time. So I kind of like to get that out of the way first, because that's what people like. Let's talk about the origin story with the two Puscifer posters.
So their management reached out to me, asked me if I wanted to do a poster for that tour last year. And of course I said yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the only real directions they gave us, when I say us, all the poster artists that got to work on the tour, was keep it like Alien or Men in Black themed, because that's what was on their on their last album. Kind of the theme behind it. And that was pretty much it. So they said, do that, send us the your sketch idea, and if it gets approved, then you just kind of go full bore with it and knock it out. And with Puscifer, Maynard actually approves all of the designs. So that's kind of cool.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Some bands have that, like there'll be one member in the band that's kind of like their poster guy.
Sure.
or their creative director or whatever. Maynard's the guy for Puscifer. Adam's the guy for Tool.
Right. So your Puscifer poster is quite different, I think, than a lot of them. You don't technically have the Men in Black one. I mean, there are a lot of different ones. They're all over the place. But for some reason, that first one you did, I think, really struck a chord. It was, in my opinion, unique to the rest of the, I don't know, 27. I don't know how many shows they're still going. They're on leg 3 coming up here.
Yeah.
I think people were just really interested in the alien monkey, like ancient aliens type thing. What is it? The stoned ape theory, right?
The stoned ape theory, yeah. Whenever I got the directions for that, I kind of thought, okay, there's 20 something other artists. What are they going to be doing? And I just wanted to come up with something that was not cliche or that anybody can think of, right? And I'm not sure what kind of spurred me to do the stoned ape theory. I don't know. I just thought about evolution, right? And I wasn't particularly thinking about the Terrence McKenna interview or anything like that. But when the idea hit me as something to do that would be different, then I'm like, oh, people are going to think that, which is fine. So I kind of went with it that way about how evolution works and, what could have happened or whatever. And, the whole alien thing coming in and influencing evolution by helping our primate cousins along, kind of a deal. So that was. I'm not sure exactly where it hit me. I just wanted to come up with an idea that was not going to be a stereotypical alien abduction, Men in Black kind of thing, because I knew that would be covered. And there were some great ones. There were some absolutely awesome posters that went with that theme. But I just let me try and kind of marinate on this and what would hit me as something different.
In my opinion, it's super different, and it was a breath of fresh air in that mix
Thank you.
Of posters, because it's definitely alien themed, obviously, but it just went in an entirely different direction. And I posted online a couple of our thing asking people to ask about the art, and the first question I got was, is the monkey giving the mushroom to the alien, or is the alien giving the mushroom to the monkey?
The alien is giving the mushroom to the monkey.
So this is kind of like
that's the whole idea. Is the aliens influencing our evolution, right?
Yeah.
But with stuff that's here on Earth, right?
Yeah.
So the psychedelic in the mushroom opens up your third eye in your brain, and gives you a bigger, more picture of the world or whatever.
Expands your mind, like they say.
Expands your mind. Thank you. Opens your third eye.
Right.
That was, I incorporated that in the design.
How many sketches did you do originally?
Just one, real rough. It was the idea with the ape head with the 3 eyes, and then the alien behind it, the ones that are floating.
Sure, I have it up right here.
Right, and the alien with the 4 eyes, which I saw one of the questions. Aliens with the 4 eyes, really, so as if we're the primates and it opens our third eye, the alien being more advanced is going to see more. That's why I've got 4 eyes there.
Yeah, almost like they're in a higher dimensional plane.
Exactly. They understand more, with the intergalactic travel and, what is it?
Space-time continuum, whatever you want to call it.
Right. Yeah. Another dimension. Yeah. Right. They see that other dimension and they're helping us along. This all kind of came to me as well as like, there's other other pieces of art, music, whatever. I mean, Black Sabbath has the song Planet Caravan. Ozzy is singing about this, right?
Yeah.
If you go look at the lyrics for Planet Caravan, it's basically like we're all in the universe. We're all part of this. We're all space dust, right? We're all distant travelers. Another poster artist brought this up when they had the new space the telescope images. I can't think of the guy's name that it's named after, but the really new clear images of our universe and everything. Jermaine Rogers. Jermaine said, "We're all." What did he say? He said, "We're all just ancient travelers."
I haven't heard him say that, but I subscribe to the same. What is that? I don't even think it's a theory. I just subscribe to that. Whatever that is, that belief of ancient aliens influencing, or what is it, ancient ancestors of us. I'm for it. It makes the most sense in my opinion. And I've gone through, rabbit holes of not underground, but just old documentaries that, you used to have to like really search for back in the early 2000s before YouTube and stuff like that. No, I'm for it. It hits on a bunch of different levels. And I think that's why, I think it was super popular. I don't know how you feel about the reception of that poster, but from my end as a collector and somebody that's in that area, we were very excited when this came out.
Oh, I was flattered. I was very flattered to have that kind of reception, for one of my pieces of art. I was just trying to create something different and fun. It's like a fun idea to think about.
And so how do you attack this? Like once you have the concept of like, okay, I know where I'm going. I'm going with alien, giving a monkey a mushroom, and let's start. What's the first thing you do?
Well, the beginning of that particular design was the background where it was just the head of the ape and the alien, right?
Sure.
And I sketched out a rough, chimp head and an alien behind it. And that was really it. The image that I put in the foreground where the alien was handing the ape the mushroom, that didn't come till later as I kept working on the design. Because when I was working on the design, the what became the background image, it just didn't tell enough of the story, right?
Agreed.
And so I went ahead and finished that part, and I'm like, this is not complete. This is, to me, is like the after effect. What happened before you see this spiritual kind of awakening, right? And then that's what I came up with was you see it happening in real life where the aliens down there, they're visiting Earth and they're handing us the mushroom, right?
Yeah, it's a complete story, which is like another question of mine is, a lot of posters, let's say, for example, this emic at the top, the Medusa. I don't necessarily look at that one and say, this has a story. It's a cool image. It's a super badass image. I really like it. The Cyberman here, I think, tells a little bit more of a story. You can tell he's somewhat depressed or something. He's mechanical. He has like a motion going on. Your poster seems like, it's just very clear. It's a very clear story,
Thanks.
And I'm just curious, is that something you do consciously, or is it just some posters?
I try. Some posters I've done are I think I've accomplished that better than others. Some are just cool images.
Sure.
But I try on several posters that I've done. I will try and incorporate imagery that tells a story. There's a couple of Soundgarden ones that I did that I think I was able to accomplish that. I'm sure if I think of some more, there's some others. And then there's others that are just like, it's just a fun design. It's a fun illustration, might be funny, or just something that looks cool.
I think one of the posters you did that looks amazing, that's non-tool, or non-Puscifer related, This Elton John one you did recently
Thank you.
it's so cool. You just immediately look at it and you're like, that's genius. Like, with the glasses, and I'm sure that foil came out nuts too. Like it almost.
We actually didn't do a foil on that one.
You didn't do a foil on that one?
No, because those were lithographs.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if anyone even prints foil lithographs.
Huh.
I haven't seen any.
Can you explain to me, and maybe somebody's listening who doesn't know, the difference between screen printing and lithograph?
So I would consider myself a screen printing artist. I've been in screen printing for 32 years, like right out of college. But at the same time, I'm a print artist, so I do understand printing in general, offset printing and lithograph printing.
Sure.
Screen printing, I'm sure people have a fundamental understanding of screen printing.
Yeah, there's like layers, right? Yeah.
The ink, you use ink and it goes in a screen.
Sure.
Okay, and a squeegee pushes that ink through the screen mesh where the image is captured in the mesh, and it's printed onto a poster, a t-shirt, and it's done one color at a time. Okay. Whereas a lithograph, in particular, these posters, like we did for the Elton John, like the Motley Crue was another one, Def Leppard, those were all lithographs, which were, I think they were printed in Pennsylvania. And to the best of my knowledge, those were all digital prints.
Gotcha.
So they were probably printed on a huge, like really nice high resolution Epson printer. So that's the main difference today. Lithograph has the evolution of the name has changed over the years. It used to mean a different way of printing than the way people use the name now. Whereas screen printing has pretty much been the same forever. But you got offset printing, which they use plates and they roll, and you can look this stuff up on Google as well. They roll the ink onto a plate, and it's the poster will be run through the press, and each color is printed at one time. So that's similar to screen printing, but it's a lot more mechanical than pushing a squeegee that pushes ink through an open mesh that has the image in it. In today's day and age with digital everything, I mean, if you've got a high resolution digital image print, it's usually printed off of a really nice big Epson printer.
Gotcha.
Where all the inks are printed at one time, the cyan, magenta, yellow, black. And yeah, they come with more colors now. They come with like 10, 12, ink cartridges that have all these different, shades of yellows and reds and blues.
So when creating, let's say, juxtaposition this Elton John to Puscifer one, the original Puscifer one, or the first one you did, you have a rough sketch. How much did you draw digitally, or was it all rough sketched and then kind of inked digitally?
So nowadays, I almost exclusively draw right into Photoshop.
Gotcha.
I have what's called a Cintiq tablet.
Gotcha.
Made by the company Wacom or Wacom. Wacom has the products. They have the pen tablets. They have the Cintiq tablets, and then all a Cintiq is a touch-sensitive screen. In my case, it's my monitor.
Sure.
Right. That you use your pen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm literally drawing right into Photoshop.
So there's like a tablet on your desk, and then you just draw.
No, the tablet is my monitor.
Okay, so you're like drawing right on your monitor.
So my monitor is my tablet.
It's
just like a sketch pad.
You're gonna have to send me a picture of that if you don't mind later.
Yeah. So it's like, just imagine your computer screen.
Sure, I understand.
Except it's touch sensitive with the pen that comes with the tool, right? And you're drawing right into your program.
So going from, I'm sure you've drawn a lot on regular paper, right?
Oh, sure.
Was there a strange transition to going to that? How long ago did you transition to?
I think about 3 years ago. Um, Before then, I was using a pen tablet, which was still made by the same company, Wacom. So you're using, instead of a mouse, you're using a pen on
Yeah.
a tablet the size of a mouse pad,
Gotcha.
right? And you're kind of drawing like that. So I would, excuse me, draw by hand, pencil, pen, and ink, scan that image in, bring it into Photoshop, clean it up with my pen tablet, and then design and paint in Photoshop. I've always said Photoshop is it's kind of like a digital airbrushing program.
Yeah.
Back in the day, before we switched over everything digital, when I started in printing, we used airbrushes. So we would draw a black line, what was called a key line, and you would draw it. You would go use a stat camera you would shoot the image on film that was clear. You bring it back into you put it on your light table, lay some paper over it, put the it's a clear sticky kind of substance. I use it forever.
Yeah.
You would X-Acto blade out images you want in
Almost like vinyl,
colors, right? And then you would airbrush black India ink and like, okay, this is going to be my red. So you would airbrush these areas. Take that airbrushed piece of paper back into the dark room with your stat camera and take halftone photo shots of it, bring those back in and just kind of work that way.
Wow.
In having that background, then transitioning to Photoshop, learning channels and layers clicked in my head because I had that background. It's like, oh, Photoshop is a lot like using an airbrush.
Gotcha.
You're just doing it in the computer.
Completely understand. I'm familiar with Photoshop and layers, and I do some graphic design here and there. I'm not good at drawing at all, but I understand layers.
Practice. That's all it is. Practice. Everybody's like, it's a God-given gift, whatever. No, it's called practice. You just do it. You keep doing it and doing it and doing it.
How did you know you were done with the Puscifer poster?
Yeah, I mean, there's several things. At time.
Yeah.
When does this got to get printed?
Sure.
That dictates a lot of it. A lot of times you're like, okay, I can't work on this any longer. I can't, I've just got to stop myself. Like, you're never satisfied as an artist. You're like, anyone who's printed, you're like, I could have fixed that. I should have done that. But you're never satisfied. You just have to be, okay, this is, I got to call it. It's done. A lot of times the schedule will dictate that. Like, I'm working on a design right now that like I had to have done this weekend, and I'm doing the color separations on it right now. I could have worked on it for another week.
Huh.
That kind of that's what dictates. So it's just like if you're happy enough with it,
sure. It's like anything.
You got to call it done.
It's just like anything. You can always keep going.
But to answer your question about when did I transition over to, I'll just say the Cintiq, because I've been working in Photoshop for 25 years.
Gotcha.
But using the Cintiq was about 3 years ago. I finally got this tool. I've been wanting one forever. And I got it because I was working on my first movie poster.
Gotcha. Which movie?
For Romany Malco is the actor. Tijuana Jackson, Purpose Over Prison. And it was his directorial debut. It's a character he wrote, and he made this movie. And I've known Romany for several years, 20 plus years. He went to high school with my wife.
Oh, wow.
And so I've done a lot of work for him, graphic design wise and stuff over the years. And he gave me a shot to do this movie poster. And I started on it, and I was doing traditional drawing of the characters because I wanted to have a real traditional movie poster.
Sure.
that was like hand drawn, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm into that as well. They're in my hallway. You can't see them from here.
That's those are my favorite style of
Yeah,
movie posters, right? Really illustrative ones.
like
And
like Escati, I think
as
his
I
name
was
is.
working on it, I'm doing these pencil drawings, right? That I'm going to take into Photoshop and then paint in Photoshop, colorize them and everything. But I was doing too many revisions, right? And I'm
Sure.
like, this is not going well. I'm like, Romney, as part of my pay, why don't you get me a Cintiq, please? And this will go much smoother
Sure.
than me drawing something by hand, scanning it in, changing it, and I don't like this, whatever. And so that was about, like I said, about 3 years ago. And so he got the Cintiq, sent it to me. He just ordered it and had it shipped to me.
Nice.
And boom, that was it. So I've been using it for 3 years. I love it. It's absolutely great.
How's it changed? Like again, you're talking about not having to draw things by hand and scanning them and whatnot. Did it? I'm guessing it obviously cut down on the amount of time it takes to get started. Maybe I don't know.
It does. It does cut down on it. That was a huge reason of why I'm like, hey, listen, let's just get this. Let me get this tool
Sure.
because we can make all these revisions quicker, right? And so it does change. Now you can use it as a crutch. There's still, I still love drawing by hand on pencil, pencil and paper.
Yeah.
I still do that. Like this design I'm working on now, I'll just sketch the stuff out on paper, right?
I
And then I'll scan it in, and it'll look completely different by the time I'm done with it than my rough pencil sketch. So I'm still drawing by hand, but it does cut down on time. But at the same time, the digital tools can be a curse, because you can change stuff endlessly.
yeah.
And it's like, how many different times am I going to revise a piece of artwork before you just say, okay, it's good enough. Let's move forward.
As for moving forward, let's get into the second tool, or Puscifer poster. The I kind of call it the the Stanley Kubrick, because it's like monkeys with tools,
I hadn't thought of that. I love hearing other people's interpretations of this.
and it definitely the tree is an alien face,
Mm-hmm.
right? Did you attack this one differently than the first one?
So yes, I wanted to have the connection to the first one,
Sure.
right? Thematically, I wanted it to have that kind of connection with the apes. And I thought, well, I knew that people were going to think it was a sequel, right,
Sure.
to the first one. It's actually a prequel.
Huh.
But if you want to think it's a sequel, that's great.
Yeah.
I think I saw somebody when I first posted it on social media. I think somebody on Instagram said, "Oh no, the apes killed the aliens."
Well, they're the one of the ships has crashed, right?
Yeah.
He's got the skull in his hand. I could see it.
And I knew that somebody would think that, and it was funny when I read that. So no, the apes killed the aliens, and I just laughed. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not what I intended, but that's great if that's the way you want to see it, because I left that up to interpretation.
I think the biggest one, why people would think that, is there looks to be like a one very angry chimpanzee in the second poster.
So yes.
He's at least making some type of noise.
The idea was they're not evolved yet, right?
Sure.
And when I say this was a prequel, imagine you go, thousands or a million years prior to that other image, right?
Yeah.
Aliens crash landed on Earth, right? And that UFO has been there for, hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Right. And we as apes have come along and just discovered it.
Gotcha. I'm
All right,
following it.
it's like, oh, what is this? You know, but if you'll notice, this goes back thematically to what I was saying earlier, how in the universe we're all just seeded from the universe, right?
Yeah, we're all star children, right? We all come from a star.
Exactly. So you see the UFOs crashed, and you see the roots kind of taking hold, and you
Sure.
see the alien head in the trees, right? And that's saying, hey, we come from another place. We're all part of this big universe. And they crash landed here thousands and thousands of years ago, but yet they brought some seeds of the universe with them, and life has grown on Earth, right? And then now the apes have come along and they've discovered it, and they're hanging out, whatever. Now, if you'll notice the ape that's sitting on the UFO,
I'm looking at him.
he's
got the
looking
skull.
at the alien skull.
Yeah.
That is there's a sculpture that is Darwin's
Gotcha.
symbolizes Darwin's theory of evolution.
I'm following.
Where the ape is looking at a human skull and he's thinking about it. So you got the ape and he's looking at the alien skull and he's thinking about it. So that's the prequel.
Hence
the angry ape, he's just an ape.
Yeah.
And he's picked up, a femur, whatever, and he's hanging out. Just, he's being an ape. And then you got one that's kind of, or two rather, that are hanging out in the tree, and the eyeballs of the ape head, or the alien head.
Yeah.
So that's the prequel. But
I dig it. I really like the typography in the second one. The was it Music Hall Houston and the date coming from the roots, and then the Puscifer in the top. It's almost like clouds.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The one thing that I wanted to do with that one, even though I'm tying it all together, is since it's a prequel to the first one, the Utah one, is much more with the iconography stuff in the background, and
the sacred geometry,
the technology, and you've got the UFOs hovering in the sky. So you see technology, right?
Sure.
In that image, right? It all is alien technology, but it's still technology.
Gotcha.
Right? Whereas the Houston show poster, the prequel, the only technology you see is the crashed UFO that's been there for a very long time.
Yeah, they haven't come back yet.
Everything else, I wanted it to be natural. So I wanted all the typography to be natural. So I painted Puscifer in the sky with the clouds. Drew, the venue with the roots of the trees. I wanted it all to have a natural feel to it.
I get it, and I dig it. It's super cool. I did get one comment where somebody really wants you to take the your evolution little thing on the Utah, where it goes from like an ape, and then there's an alien, and then
yes.
They want vinyl stickers of that. There was multiple people that says, why can't I buy that sticker from him?
We'll have to make that a sticker, and I'll have to. That's a buddy of mine, Tony Kalin, gave me that idea because he was watching my progression on that poster as I'm working on it. And it popped into his head, and I'm like, "That's a great idea."
It's a great final touch, I think, at the bottom.
And I'm like, God, "How can I incorporate that in there?" And I'm like, "I'll just use it as a little bitty, little bookends on the I have the venue across the bottom of the poster. It's just like a little, graphic symbol.
It makes it symmetrical."
Mm-hmm.
And it adds to the story, of both of the posters, actually. I'm going to transition a little bit. Actually, I have one last question with the Puscifer posters.
Sure.
So it's obviously, stoned ape theory, aliens, ancient aliens. Is there a specific thing you would like people that view these to walk away with, like a feeling or a message?
That's a good question. I mean, I think what I've noticed that people walk away with is exactly what I could, all that I could hope for, really. You know, uh, whenever I get the accolades for it, I'm kind of like, I'm flattered.
You're like, cool.
A lot of times I don't know how to respond.
I'm the same
I'm
way.
very flattered.
Yeah.
A lot of times I just don't expect it. Right. So it's I blush. So when people walk away with things, it's actually more than I could have hoped for. Some people will, like, one of the first comments on the Utah poster that somebody had. I wish I could remember her name. She had tagged her husband and saying, "Look, it's got all the stuff."
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's perfect.
It does.
That's perfect, because she saw everything. I want people to get it and come away with the story that I'm trying to tell, or like like I said, you might make up their own story.
Yeah.
Make up your own interpretation, just like songs. People will interpret a song to themselves that's completely different than the way the songwriter had intended it to be. I love seeing that too. So it's always just like, you get people's reactions, and it's like, I couldn't ask for anything more, because they're giving me more than I would have thought.
I specifically don't read lyrics because I don't want somebody to change how I feel about a song.
Interesting.
And I get a lot of shit.
It's a long time.
I get a lot of shit for it.
Album, and I don't even know what song I'm listening to. I just like, I love that song.
I mean,
that's track 10.
I follow music and podcasting, this and that, and these bands, but no, it's funny because I'll get into conversations with somebody who'll ask me like, "Oh, what do you think this song is about?" I'm like, I have no fucking clue, dude, but I can
right.
I can tell you what I have attached to it. But
right.
I can't tell you what they were thinking. I'm not, Maynard. Who knows? It could be about a bird or, fisting.
And that's great. The listener or the consumer of the art, however they want to interpret it is perfectly fine. I wouldn't want to force anyone to interpret art any other way. I'm going to tell my story, and a musician's going to tell their story, and however you interpret it is perfectly fine.
So I'm going to transition a little bit. Have you ever been to a concert that your poster was being released?
Plenty.
How's that?
Great. If I get to do a poster, so I live in Houston, Texas, and if I get to do a poster, when I'm asked by the merch companies or the bands to do a poster, the first thing I do is look at their tour schedule. And if there is a Houston date, I ask, because a lot of times we don't get to decide.
Sure.
Right. Or they don't go into it knowing, this person's going to get this city, this person, or rather they might just already have it lined out who gets what, right? And they're not playing favorites or anything, well, sometimes some artists might get a bigger market.
No, I completely happen. Yeah.
And it's completely understandable.
Sure.
Right. I've seen like Jermaine will get a bigger market.
Yeah, like LA or something like that.
Like an LA, right? And I get it.
Me too.
Like, give it to Jermaine.
Yeah.
Because his stuff's going to sell there. So when I'll get a job, I'll look at the tour schedule, and I'll, if they got a Houston date, I'll ask for it. And a lot of times I get it.
Did you?
Because no one else has asked.
Yeah. So you did get Houston for your second Puscifer poster. Did you go to that show?
I did.
And how'd you like it? Because I saw that show 3 times on this tour so far. And I think you're the first artist that I've talked to that actually went to the concert.
I've been to, like I said, I've been to several shows where they were Houston dates because I just, I want to go to the shows that I've done the poster for the Puscifer. Yeah, I definitely. Whenever they came back and said, "Hey, you want to do another one?" I'm like, "Yes, give me the Houston bill if it's available." And they're like, "Okay, you got it." So a lot of times it's just you got to be quick if you really want that city.
So
You know,
what was your experience like going to that specific show, the music hall in Houston where this poster
the
was released?
that particular music hall, the 713 Music Hall, is relatively new,
Okay.
and it's a great venue. It's I think what it is they rebuilt out the downtown post office
Okay.
building. It's a massive building. Like it's not just the theater. There's other businesses within this whole building that takes up a whole block in downtown Houston, and it's super nice because it's brand new,
Sure.
right? And so the theater's really nice. It's big, but it's not too big. So it was great getting to go to the show to see it. Um,
How did you like the show in general? Just
oh, the show was great. It
right?
was fun.
Yeah.
They're very theatrical. It's funny.
And
You know,
that careen around the girl singer. Woo,
she's awesome.
dude. She's like she is great. That's all. I mean, singing,
She's awesome. She's got a
dancing.
great voice.
She's
Great performer.
interactive. I like seeing
Yeah,
Maynard run around too. That's pretty funny. Um,
yeah. Because a lot of people will go to a Tool concert, and now he just hangs back there in the shadows
yep.
above Danny.
Like Batman.
Off to the side. You see him back there, and sometimes the lights will hit him, but you
Yeah.
see him. But with Puscifer,
He's
right out there up front.
I saw,
It's a performance. It's a show that's it's a rock show, but they're doing stuff. They've got extra people acting. They've got guys dressed as aliens and Men in Black and all that stuff. They're dressed as Men in Black, and it was a very fun show.
I don't think anybody's doing stuff like that right now that I've noticed, where it's just like a
I can't think of anybody.
and it's almost like a throwback too. It reminds me of like Rocky Horror a little bit, and
Well, you know what? Now that you say that, Alice Cooper.
okay,
Alice Cooper still puts on those types of theatrical, acting out stuff, right?
and he's done that his whole career too, where
his whole career.
he used to do the guillotine, and
He still does the guillotine. I saw him about 4 years ago, and he's still doing that. And it was a great concert. So he's still, and he has other people that aren't in the band come out and do acting parts. So I guess Alice has been doing it forever, right?
Gotcha.
But Puscifer, I can't think of any other that are like contemporary bands that aren't like 40, 50 years old that are doing it. So yeah.
So what was it like seeing people walk around with your poster at that show?
That's always fun.
Did anybody know you were the guy that did it?
Yeah, yes. But then there's,
Yeah,
there's 10 times as many that don't.
exactly.
That they'll have the poster, they'll have it in a tube or a cellophane or whatever. And they have no idea who I am. But I do get recognized at shows by the people I haven't met, like, hey, you're the poster artist. Great job. Like, hey, thank you.
So you've done obviously a lot of different bands. I went through your website and Instagram and whatnot. First of all, there's not a whole lot of information about you online, but you have a lot of work online.
A lot of imagery.
Yeah. I think I found one paragraph about you personally, and like your history. You went to college and XYZ. You were, you can talk about it in a minute, but let me get to my question. Sorry, I'm dragging on.
No problem.
You did a lot of Soundgarden, Chris Cornell, where the actual faces of the musicians are on the poster itself.
Well, with Chris in particular, yes. For his solo stuff, I've done several using his image.
And do you draw his face from scratch, or do you take photos?
I use reference.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. But with all of the drawings that I've done, well, no, minus one. One that I did was actually for a cover band. Was the last like Soundgarden Chris, and it was after his death. Um, I did use somebody's photograph that I redrew.
Gotcha.
It was a photograph of him jumping from a Lollapalooza performance way back in 1992 when he had the long hair and everything. And so it was such a great action shot. And there's a cover band in Houston, Rusted Cage, I believe is what they're called. And I've done like 2 posters for those guys. And so that one image was the last one I've done of Chris / Soundgarden.
Sure.
Where it was from an actual photo that I just redrew that photo.
Okay.
All the other ones, yes, it's his face, but I'm not like tracing his face or anything. I have several images that I've used, like, okay, and I'll redraw it from just like looking at it and over and over and drawing again until I get like it's him, right? It's got to be him. When you draw on anybody, you want it to be them and be their likeness. So with the Soundgarden stuff, I didn't draw anybody's faces. It was just imagery, Indians. Or
it's just a
whatever.
Chris. It was just the Chris Cornell ones, and I think I'm specifically curious about those because now he's dead, right?
Right.
So I'm just curious if there's especially the one after he died. Do you feel like there's a responsibility to portray him a specific way or his likeness a specific way? Like, because it's kind of a legacy now. Like all these ones of him that are out there, especially from you and his face, those are it, you know?
So, well, me, because I'm such a fan, I'm going to do something that I think would honor him, right?
Right.
So the first one that I did after his death was what they call the telephone pole style. It's the long, thin poster.
I know which one you're talking about.
It's all blue and actually has an acoustic guitar, kind of under below his chin area. And that was just like a kind of like a portrait drawing of him. Nothing in particular about that design. The ones that were the twin ones was the Austin and Dallas dates, where I took a drawing of him, split it in 2 and made 2 posters. That one I created using imagery that I came up with from his solo album, A Higher Truth. You don't really notice unless you put those 2 images together. He's holding like water sifting through his hands, and where it's puddling right there below him, it's shaping a heart. But you don't notice that unless you have both of those posters put together.
I don't see that one on your website.
It was for Austin and Dallas. And when I got that job, that I thought I want to make a twin poster. Because it'd be super cool for collectors to have, and I hadn't done one at that point. So, but that one, I got to do that one on his Higher Truth tour, and then it's funny. Right after I had finished that design, well, like I said, it was 2 posters.
I found it. It's a blacklight one too.
It is, because we used a glow ink on that as well. Which looks super cool under a black light. But that tour didn't have a Houston date when I did those 2 posters. And right after I'd finished those posters, I had a Facebook friend email me. And she's like, they added a Houston date. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. because I would have made the image 3 triptype, what they call 3 triptypes. So I was stuck. I'm like, it's done. It's already on its way to the printer. So I came up with another design for the Houston. I reached out to Soundgarden's Chris's manager, and I asked her, I'm like, well, please let me have the Houston date. I just saw that, I was just alerted to that y'all have added Houston to the tour. It was like they had time. They added it. It was like the second last show, I think, of the tour. And I said, please let me have Houston. And she made me wait a couple of days. And she goes, all right, Kyle, you've got it. You can do something for Houston. And so I came up with a whole completely new, didn't have anything to do with the Dallas and Austin. And I made the Houston poster its own. It was still a telephone pole poster. But it used imagery from that I, got from his album, The Heart. He had a heart in the artwork. It was kind of like throughout, we open it up and there's images of an actual heart in some of the graphics. So
he's like holding a rose,
it's like a rose, but if you look at it, it's a heart.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Well, thank you.
And I like on your website how for certain posters it almost is showing the layers, like how it would look with the blacklight. You also use blacklight on that one, I think.
Yeah, the ones that we've used glow in the dark ink. I'll make an animated GIF image.
Yeah.
In Photoshop, like when I'm done with the art, I had to teach myself how to make an animated GIF. It's not that hard.
No.
You look it up, you YouTube it,
right,
in Photoshop, and I figured out how to. Actually, I did way before YouTube. Figured out how to do an animated GIF. So you just make an animated GIF image of what it looks like with when the lights are off. You can see the glow in the dark ink, because a lot of times you could use a picture,
sure,
photograph, but I want people to see this layer of ink is the glow in the dark ink. And really the only way to do that is to show them an animated GIF, because you could take a picture of the poster under a black light, and I have plenty of time. But if you've got bright, vibrant colors that you're using as inks, those are going to glow anyway,
sure.
Right? So you want to see what the glow in the dark ink is by itself. And so that's the reason I've done that with all the posters that I've used glow ink on.
I love Soundgarden.
Me too.
I'm a little younger, so I didn't really get into the Chris Cornell thing. My dad is a huge Chris Cornell fan. He's always talking about Chris Cornell. It hit him pretty hard when he passed too.
I'll never get over it. Just gotta live with it. Yeah, it was devastating.
I'm a huge Audio Slave fan. Huge Audio Slave fan. I love those. What is it? They did like three or four albums. I've seen them a couple times. I never got to see Soundgarden. I never saw Chris Cornell by himself, but I know like his cover. He did that whole cover album that was really really great.
Yeah.
Anyways, enough about Chris Cornell. I just you have some very cool Soundgarden and Chris Cornell posters, and I just kind of wanted to touch on those too.
Oh, sure. No, I mean, I'm a huge Soundgarden fan. Love Chris Cornell. Audio Slave was great as well. But yeah, Soundgarden. Soundgarden's where it started for me with doing the rock and roll poster art. I mean, I've been a screen print artist, like I said, for 30 years. So, and I've done jobs here and there for other rock bands.
Sure.
Like when I was in my 20s, I got to do a t-shirt design for Billy Gibbons, ZZ Top. I got to do some tour shirts for Queensryche back in 2000. The company I worked for, we got to do their tour run. And so our whole art department got to do some designs for Queensryche, and I had like multiple t-shirt designs for those guys. But it wasn't until after Soundgarden reformed in 2010, I think, that I'm like, I know screen printing. I'm going to do a Soundgarden poster.
So did you contact them or did they contact you?
I contacted them, and it took me 2 weeks to find the right contact. So I did my first Soundgarden poster before I had any contacts. I just did it, completed it. It's the one with the Native American Indian
I'm looking
chief
at it right now.
and the wolf.
Yeah.
Real psychedelic looking.
It's
I did that
very
design.
vibrant.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. I wanted it to look very psychedelic, very, throwback rock and roll poster art. I did that design, and I actually did it for Houston, but it ended up being for St. Louis. So
You were doing posters obviously before this, but was this like your first big band poster? This sound.
it was my first big band poster, but I was doing screen printing.
Sure.
But screen printing for T-shirts.
Gotcha.
So I knew how to do the work. Like I've got that experience, right? Like I'm a print artist. I know how to create designs that are going to print well, right? And I know how to do color separations. I've been doing it that long. So I'm like, I'm just going to do it. And I'll find the contact after I got to have something to show them, right?
Sure.
I can't go look at all my old art that has nothing to do with
Soundgarden.
rock and roll. I've got a couple here that are rock related, but most of my stuff is just kind of random. So I had to do a poster, and I'm like, let me get it in front of the right eyes. And took me 2 weeks to find the right person. And when I finally did, I was in.
So was that your first concert poster ever?
Correct.
Oh, that's awesome. So the first poster you ever made, you did before they even saw it. You showed it to them. You're like, hey, I do this. I want you guys to use it. And they said yes.
Yep.
That's fucking awesome.
When I got a hold of the right person, Hampton Howerton, Hampton's like, hey, you've got it. Just let's change it from Houston to St. Louis because we already gave Houston to somebody else. And I'm like, no problem. Because the whole thing was in layers and Photoshop. So I just redrew things that were indicating it was, it was going to be at the Bayou Music Center. I changed it to the pageant for St. Louis.
Sure.
I did change. If you look on the Indian chief's hand, he's wearing a ring. The ring is the St. Louis Arch.
I see it.
That used to be before I had to change it to St. Louis. That used to be a ring of Texas.
Gotcha.
So my original design was because there's a very old Soundgarden song called "The Hand of God."
Okay.
And Chris sings a line, says the hand of God has got a ring about the size of Texas.
That would have been a gem. I
know, right? That's like, but no, well, what are you gonna do? So I changed it to the St. Louis Arch. So that's cool too, right?
Yeah, it's super cool. It would have.
So that's how that all started.
It would have been nice if it lined up, but you already lucked out, so you're not gonna, you're not gonna.
No, I mean, I got they approved it. They're just like that. We already gave it to they gave it to Uncle Charlie actually.
Okay.
So Uncle Charlie had the Soundgarden Houston show, but they said, look, we got St. Louis is open. Just change it to fit for St. Louis. So that's what I did, and then I was in, and I'd done Soundgarden and Chris posters, up until his death.
Did you ever?
Yeah, that was my very first big rock poster was for Soundgarden.
And then it just took off. I mean, how many do you think you do a year?
Oh gosh, good question. I hadn't thought of that. Last year was insane.
Yeah, it seems like.
And it's already started off. I knew it would be because all the bands are touring now. Even though we're still in a pandemic, they got to go out and make money.
Nobody cares anymore.
Yeah, they're not waiting around anymore. So last year was crazy. I hadn't even thought how many I did last year. Prior to that, I would say I would probably do 3 or 4 a year, maybe.
Okay.
But I had, but it's not just posters. I'm doing T-shirt art as well. Do some album covers here and there. So it's just like the rock and roll stuff that fills up my freelance time.
Sure.
Because my day job, I work as a production artist, as a screen print artist at a shop.
Okay.
Which had nothing to do with rock. We've done a couple band type things, but not many. So all of the rock and roll related stuff is all like on my freelance time. So I'm like,
I have a day job too.
day job. And then
it's not that bad, actually. I like my job.
Well, that's some of us have to do that. You gotta do it.
Yeah. No, I mean, we all, not all of these ventures, like somebody asked me the other day, they're like, oh, how much do you make doing our podcast? Nothing. I lose money all the time. Like, I'm in the hole. They're like, oh, you should start No, I'm just losing money, but it's fun. And it's my hobby. I like talking to art. I mean, it brings me joy to sit here and talk to you. And you talk about a poster that I really like, it's worth it to me. It's worth my time and money.
Well, we're thankful for everybody that helps get the art out,
Right.
I'm thankful you asked me to do this. I'm super glad you asked.
I'm thankful you for you to come on. We'll get back into some more questions. I usually just write down my questions in my own language, but I've been using a thing called ChatGPT. Have you heard of this?
I have heard of it. I haven't tried it out yet, but I have heard it. Heard of it, rather.
I asked it to give me some questions that would be good for talking to somebody who makes posters, and it gave me really good questions, but not in my own language, right? So I'm finding it difficult to ask these how I would ask them. And anyways, that's besides the point. What it leads me into is AI art is like a huge thing right now.
Uh-huh.
And what are your thoughts on that? On AI art and AI creativity in general?
I think so. I really didn't have like the knee-jerk reaction that I noticed a lot of other artists were having.
Like Mark Brooks.
I mean, I saw a lot of other artists like get really mad at it.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, because for anybody that doesn't know, it's algorithms that go out, pull in influences from already created art, and give you images, right? I just thought, yeah, cool, whatever. I'm not going. It's like plagiarism and copyright. I'm not going to do it. And even though you see it, and some of the stuff is like really cool, to me, if I were to, when I first thought, or what I first thought when I saw it was, that might be cool to use for reference.
Yeah.
Because it immediately you could tell, rather, at least I did. Some people might not be able to tell that there was no human element.
Oh, 100%.
To a lot of the imagery.
100%.
And it's kind of hard to pinpoint, and explain what that is when you see it and you think there's something off.
It's always the hands.
Not created by. Well, yeah, of course the hands thing is the big giveaway. It hasn't figured out how to draw hands yet, with the digits and all. But everything else is like, wow, that's really neat. But there's
no, you can tell.
You can tell there's not that human element that us in our minds think about when we're creating art, right? Like when I'm doing a design, I mean, I'm like I was telling you earlier, I'll get to a point where I'm like, I have to stop, but I want to push that art to where I'm at least happy with it, because I know it's going to be printed and published and out there for everybody to see, and I want other people to like it as well. But there's things that you think of with our human brain that just AI isn't going to think of.
Like I don't think AI could get anywhere near your original Soundgarden poster.
I mean, thank you. I mean, you never know.
I mean, maybe eventually, but as of right now, I mean, the feathers, the fur on the wolf, the hands.
There's certain things that that I don't think that, I mean, who knows? We're still early in it. I think it's a neat tool. I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have that knee jerk, pissed off reaction that I saw other artists having. I saw a lot of artists that really haven't done art in a long time started playing with it.
Yeah.
Right. Or they don't do art on the regular and they started playing with it and they're putting it out there and they're really proud of it. Right. And I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
proud of that. That was my reaction.
Like you said, it's a tool.
It's another tool.
It's a tool, but I don't think it could get anywhere near, again, something like, and maybe eventually, but something like your Soundgarden poster, or even the first Puscifer one you did. I don't think it does. It can't line up your composition like you would.
Yeah, that. Well, thank you. And I would say that goes across the board for all artists.
Agreed. Agreed.
Because I see like other artists that I like have like huge respect for. I'm like, they'll never have an AI that's going to create, this particular artist's style the way this particular artist does that art. They may emulate it.
Exactly.
But there's still going to be something about it that doesn't have that human touch. And when I say that human touch, even though I'm designing using a digital tool, it's still me drawing. It's still my brain thinking about how that image needs to look.
I'm going to layer this here. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put this here.
Exactly. You get, the whole composition of everything. You got it. I'll do a design, work on it, and come back the next day and see it completely different.
Sure.
Right. And that's another thing when I like to have, like, I'll have friends take a look. Hey, come look over my shoulder. Right. What do you think? And they'll start seeing things that I hadn't thought about, and then I'm like, oh, a great idea. I'll create what you just told me and see if that works. I call it fresh eyes, right? Like I'll get on a design that I've been working on for a week and then go look at it again and like see it in a completely different way. And that's that human touch that AI just doesn't have,
I 100% agree. And saying that, I still use it. And I know it's
use it. It's a tool.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it.
No, and I wouldn't be mad at you for being mad at me for using it.
No, I'm not mad at people that are using it either. It's like, I do see that there's going to be a lot of consumers that are going to, can't you just use it AI, or I'll learn AI
what I think.
I'll put in the terms and come up with my own design. Okay, fine, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and try. It's not easy getting what you want out of AI either. It almost never works, in my opinion, or you get something cool, but it's never exactly what you think. But anyways, is there a specific poster that you've done that's your favorite?
I do get asked that one. I will say that my first Soundgarden one is gonna, that one's near and dear to me, right?
I could see the heart in it.
Thank you. It was a very tough one to get to that point, right? Not knowing if you're going to find the right contact after you've done this art. So that for that reason, it's real special, because, and also I love Soundgarden. So that is special for that. It was a big door opener for me. Imagery, the Puscifer Utah one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I love that one a lot as well. I love the Houston one as well. I knew that when I was doing the Houston one, I'm like, I can't top that Utah one. Let me try.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I went thematically the same, but I wanted it completely different. I mean, like, one is a nighttime, one is a daytime. The colors are completely different. But that Utah one, I understand it is special, the whole layout. So that one is special to me. I did oh man, about 9 years ago, I did a High on Fire one that I really like a lot. I did two for High on Fire.
I'm looking on it.
But the one where it's like the Amazon woman sitting on a T-Rex, real sexy woman, like a warrior woman.
I'm looking for it.
And
I see it.
it's a massive poster. I've done a few massive posters in my day. When I say massive, I mean in physical size.
How big is that thing?
It's huge. It's like a 24 by 36. It's massive. I've done a few of those big ones. A lot of bands, they don't want them because it's more money.
Yeah.
That one I really liked a lot just because it was super psychedelic.
It reminds me of like the old 60s. I forget what kind of movies they are, but almost like Planet of the Apes style. But they made other movies that were like way campier, that were still cool.
Campy.
Yeah.
Totally. That's why I love it, because it's just very rock and roll.
Yeah.
You got the woman on the riding the T-Rex, it's just super campy.
There's a lot going on for sure.
And it's silly,
So
but it's fun.
Did you draw her from like on a pad from scratch?
I did. Yeah. Pen and ink. That was before I was using my Cintiq. So yeah, I drew her, scanned her in. I drew the T-Rex separately. I drew those pieces separately. Actually, I drew the woman separately and the T-Rex separately, and then put them together in Photoshop and retraced them all.
Gotcha.
She got those were actually pen and ink. Yeah.
Because I can tell like the high of fire. You obviously, that's all made in Photoshop, right? The logo, I mean the writing itself.
The writing for the High on Fire, yes, yeah, oh yeah. I drew that all out. The central design or central illustration of the girl and the dinosaur.
I just like the mix.
Drew by hand.
Like, because you can tell, like, oh, he drew that T-Rex and her, and now there's this like psychedelic background.
Very psychedelic. But I wanted it to have that kind of hand drawn, font kind of create. I do that, I'll try and do that a lot. Sometimes I don't.
Well,
sometimes I'll lay out the font.
I can just tell like the mixture of hand drawn and digital tools, and it works.
Well, I will, if I'm laying out a font, just like typing it up, laying it out, I'm always tweaking that font somehow, some way.
Yeah.
I'm always going to give that font some kind of character.
Yeah, like on the Puscifer one, it's kind of like their font from on the Utah one, it's kind of like the font from their album, but then it goes into like the almost like a heptagram geometry star, whatnot.
And I created that font by hand.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Because it's similar, isn't it?
It is similar in look because it's thin.
Yeah.
The line work is really thin. What I did is I found a blocky font.
Okay.
Just laid it out. And then I built the line work. So imagine if you take a blocky font and then just shrunk it.
Gotcha.
So I had to build the line work within the font. So I like redrew like a skeleton.
Gotcha.
Right. So I redrew the fonts. So it's like you can't find that font. Like it's completely handmade. But I had a template to start with.
Yeah.
And the template was an actual font.
I completely understand.
And then I would extend the line work on the P and the R to kind of go into the imagery in the background. So I'll try and expound upon fonts that I might lay out, or I'll just do it completely by hand, like the Puscifer Houston one is completely by hand, and several others actually. The Soundgarden and the High on Fire, some of those are as well.
I really like the way you do your textures, especially on animals.
That would be, going back to being a print artist, knowing what I can get away with.
Sure.
And knowing how can I create this and it's going to look cool as because most of them are screen prints. Like I said, most of the designs I do are screen prints. Going back to the lithographs, if you look at the posters that were printed as lithographs, the Elton John, the Motley Crue, Def Leppard, the Wu-Tang Clan, those were all lithographs. And because those weren't screen printed, that actually frees you up in your illustration to do more realistic type of illustration work.
Sure.
Because you don't have to worry about doing what's called color separations.
Yeah, you can just make whatever image you want. And it's going to get printed.
Make whatever image you want. Have all these gradients in the artwork, like especially with that Elton John.
Yeah,
like
that's the one I'm looking at right now.
All kind of detail and gradients. That's not an image you would want to try and screen print.
Okay.
Can it be done? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it can be done. But as a screen print, that kind of artwork could be 20 colors.
Gotcha.
It's just not.
It'd be
feasible.
super expensive.
Super, super expensive to try and do. Super hard to color separate something like that. It can be done. I can do it. Wouldn't want to do it.
Because most gig posters and artists that I've talked to, they stick around about 6 colors.
I would say, for the bigger bands that do a lot of posters, that's an average.
Yeah.
You really don't want to go over 6 colors. It's just very expensive, and screen printing posters, it's a lot of work.
Sure.
It's a lot of work.
I've seen videos of it, of that,
It's not just a lot of work for the artists. It's a lot of work for the printers.
Yeah. And you do both.
Work. Yeah. And it's very, it's manual labor. It's really, it's not easy.
Again,
Printing is an art form in itself.
I'm going to transition. I know very little about the process of screen printing, but like you said, it looks like manual labor. You're putting the screens down, you squeeze
totally manual labor.
Taking it off.
Even with automatic presses.
Yeah.
It takes 2 people to do like a big press. It takes 2 people to run it. You got to have one person there handing the paper. As soon as one color's done, you got to pull that screen out, go wash it out, clean it. You can't let that stuff sit when it comes to poster printing, because the inks will dry up like cement.
Gotcha.
And so it's just like you're constantly moving, like in a print shop,
And that's your daily job, right?
Yes, but I'm a screen print artist.
Gotcha.
So I have done the printing end of it. Where I work now, I don't deal with the printing.
You just do design, the artwork.
I just do the design. I get the color separations done for the printers.
Gotcha.
I have printed, but I wouldn't consider myself a printer.
No.
But I know it because I've been in print shops for a long time.
Maybe you can answer this question for me. This is something that I've been very curious about, but never have gotten a real straight answer. And you might not want to answer this, but I'm going to ask it anyways. So let's say Puscifer says, I want this poster, right? You make the poster. I get that transaction. They give you X amount of posters and pay you for drawing it, right? That's kind of how that transaction works. Now, the transaction that I'm curious about is, how much does it cost to make, I don't know, 350 posters or 200 posters or whatever? And like, how does that, I'm very curious about that.
So, of course, I get asked that all the time. And there's so many variables involved. How many colors?
Yeah.
How big is the paper? What size of paper we're going to use? How many? That's always an answer that the print shop would have to to.
Fair enough.
It's a question that the print shop would
I
have to
guess
answer.
I was just curious at your general 18 by 24, 6
I,
colors.
On average, maybe $5, $6, $7 a print.
Okay.
If you're looking at a couple hundred,
Yeah.
that's just kind of an average for a 3, 4 color print job.
Makes
That's
sense.
a ballpark.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I wasn't asking for a specific solid answer, but
No, that's a ballpark.
that
Like there's so
yeah,
many
yeah.
variables in screen printing. Whereas you're doing a lithograph print, you don't have to worry about all that extra labor, right?
Now, why do
So
you
it's easier to kind of price that kind of stuff.
do you again, I only know the bands that I go to, right? Puscifer Tool does their own weird printing that nobody really knows about. It's kind of like lithograph, I guess, but it's not.
Some of the Tool ones were lithos,
Uh,
especially on their last tour.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because what Adam was doing was he was he was picking artists he liked, whether they were screen print
Yeah,
artists or not. It didn't matter to him.
agreed. That's
Um,
that's how I got started with this, was interviewing Tool artists first, and then Puscifer Tour came out, and I started doing that. Um, so this last tour are lithographs. I
I would say that a lot of them were. I mean,
I know they used a
I don't
specific
know if they
franking.
all were, but a lot of them were. Well, yeah, I think it's probably half and half. I'm just guessing. But I do know that he was picking artwork that
Yeah.
wasn't screen print artist created.
No, he had fine artists, and he had
Yep.
digital artists and
He even had one of his
anime.
wife's paintings.
Yeah, I have that one in the other room.
Mhm.
I guess so. My question is if screen printing is so hard, why wouldn't everybody just do lithographs?
Screen printing, there is an added value to the print because of the labor
Sure.
that is involved in it. The inks, if you take care of that print, that thing will last you your entire lifetime, your kid's lifetime. You get it framed, that thing is going to stay bright and vibrant for generations,
Okay.
whereas some lithos may not. It's especially in today's day and age with a lot of digital lithos, who knows how long those images are going to stay bright and vibrant. They could stay that bright and vibrant for decades. We just don't know. But with screen print, we know it's been around forever. And those inks, like they stay super bright and vibrant for a long, long time. And then the labor that's involved in it adds that value. But they also just look better.
I agree.
They just look better. Screen prints just look better. Now that doesn't. I mean, I'm glad to do the posters that we did with the lithographs because I got to do a lot of big bands.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to worry about doing color separations for the screen print. I'm just going to do a really cool illustration and like I'm going to add a lot more detail than I would if it were a screen print, right? A lot of times that might be like you got to kind of pull the reins back and you don't want to go off too far. You still want it to look like a cool image and not like you're just throwing everything in the kitchen sink in the design. But the screen prints have that added value just because they're brighter and they just, on a whole, they look better.
Fair enough.
The lithographs, yes, I can do artwork that I wouldn't try to do on a screen print because I don't have to worry about color separation. So I'm going to do this design this way, right? But in the end, those screen prints, they jump out at you. They're really just bright and vibrant.
I got two more questions.
Yeah.
It's a big one. So because of your Utah poster, one of the questions that somebody asked online was using psychedelics and drugs in art. Now, I'm not saying that you have done that, but I am going to ask if you have any experience or know about any scenarios in which people have used substances to maybe enhance their art.
I have not. 100% honest.
Fair enough.
For myself,
Sure.
but I mean, yeah, other people have, sure.
Yeah.
You know, um, I can get in the headspace,
Gotcha.
you know, creatively. A lot of times, what I've learned as an artist is just you don't be afraid of that blank slate, that white paper, right? That white.
It terrifies me.
You know, you just because in the end, I know as long as I barrel through it and work on the design, work on the art, I'm going to come up with something. Like I have faith because I've been doing it long enough. Like there's times where I'm like creatively, it's not coming to me. But like I don't need the substance, the psychedelics or all that. I don't. You just if you just play with stuff, right? Play with stuff in your own mind. You know,
Be curious.
you'd be curious. You know, I see one of the questions, and I get this a bunch, is like, you know, what do you do to research an artist that maybe you haven't listened to or whatever, you don't know, right? You know, I'll listen to them. You know, what have they used as art on their album covers? You know, I'm not going to knock off their art, but it gives me an aesthetic to think about. You know,
Sure.
and so you just kind of think about stuff and just sketch. You know, just draw. You know, my sketches don't look any better than anybody else's sketches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're just ideas. But the more you sketch, the more ideas you come up with. You know, and you got to work through those processes.
You're just saying,
you know?
do the work.
You just do the work. You know,
Yeah.
like a lot of sketches I'll be doing in a design, and I'm like, the deadline is creeping up on me, and I haven't gotten 10% of the design done, and I'll panic, yeah. But at the end, I'm like, I'm gonna go sleepless to get this done. You know, and so I'll do it.
You kind of answered both my questions in that one, because my next question was going to be if you had some advice for, you know, people that are trying to become artists or gig poster artists, and you kind of just said it. Don't be afraid of the white board and do the work.
Yeah. I mean, sketch, draw, just do the work. You know, don't waste time doing other things that don't matter.
Sure.
Just do the work.
Is there any bands you haven't done posters for that you would like to?
Oh yeah.
What's one of the big ones?
Well, some of the bigger ones.
Because you did a Metallica one, right?
I did a Metallica one.
You did the
I'm
Who?
trying to get in on doing another Metallica one because they're about to go on tour again. So you know, it's completely different company that's dealing with them now. So it's like everybody's got to kind of find who, you know,
The contact.
who to go to.
You did a Who one. That's pretty big. Right?
I got to do that. Was very big. Super stoked about that one. So, you know, a Black Sabbath one, of course, was super big.
Yeah, he's not touring anymore now, so that's it.
No,
it's a part
big,
of
yeah.
That's a part of that. To me, that's like that story is done. There's now and forever only X amount of Black Sabbath posters.
Totally. I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah, you're 100% correct.
And then you are now in a group of people that got to do one.
Yep.
And they will. I'm not saying there'll never be another Black Sabbath poster, but there'll never be another Black Sabbath gig.
There'll be not another show poster.
Yep.
Yeah. So that
congratulations on that.
There'll be other posters, I imagine, that are commemorative type stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be art.
I already see it happening.
Yeah.
You know, there's other commemorative posters that are always done. But yeah, for an official poster, yes. You know, there's a lot of. I mean, I haven't done a Tool poster.
Yeah.
Would love to do a Tool poster. I've reached out to Adam. Adam, if you see this.
Yeah, Adam. I don't know if he will.
I would love to do Pearl Jam. You know, they got the poster buyers. Foo Fighters. Those are big ones. What are big ones? I've done stuff I did a poster for Les Claypool and Sean Lennon.
Yeah.
Several years ago. I would love to do an official Primus poster. That would be really cool.
Right? They tour enough.
Yeah. And their poster base is there.
Yeah. Those are
that's another thing that you want to do the bands that the poster base is there for.
No,
you're going to make money on them.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. It's like it's like Tool, Primus, Foo Fighters, 311.
311, yeah.
Dave Matthews.
They got that base. They got those poster collectors.
Billy Strings is a big one now, apparently.
Billy Strings. I've got another country artist that I just got. I'm not going to say who it is yet, but it's not Billy Strings. But I would love to do one for Billy Strings.
Is it Luke Bryan? I'm just kidding.
No, it's not him.
I had to take pictures of his concerts the other day.
Are you a photographer as well?
I have so many side gigs.
That's awesome, though.
I just dabble in everything. I do photography on the side. I make short films. I do the podcast. I'm a chef in my day job.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
It's a bit much sometimes. Well, thank you, Kyler. I don't have any more questions. I mean, I could go on forever, but I won't do that to you. Do me a favor and tell people where they can find your stuff, and all that madness.
It's easy. It's my name, KylerSharp.com.
And you have an Instagram at Kyler Sharp, I'm guessing.
All that stuff. Just use my name, you'll find me.
We'll put that on. What I will ask is if you have any original sketches from Puscifer, if you send me photos of those, I like to post them with. For some reason, people love to see the original sketches.
I'll have to go back through my Photoshop files. I'm sure I do. I have like preliminary sketches, and it's like I said, my sketches. There's nothing special about them. It's just ideas.
People love them. I don't. Yeah. They love to see.
I'll send you some roughs.
Cool. And then thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Spiral Out Podcast is produced by me, your host, Chris West, edited by me, researched by me. Everything is pretty much just done by me. Go to our website, spiraloutpod.podbean.com. Follow us on Instagram at spiral_out_pod. Facebook, Spiral Out Podcast. And again, if you want to see some of the images associated with this episode, click the link in the show notes and it'll take you there. Again, thank you for listening. Spiral Out. Pod dismissed. Wait, that's another show.